January 13th, 1863, federal officials formally authorized the raising of Negro troops for the Union Army's South Carolina Volunteer Infantry. January 13th, 1863. Finally, the black man is going to have his day in the sun. Finally, January 13th, 1863. Here's a picture of Abraham Lincoln and Stephen Douglas. Kind of really like Abraham Lincoln's face. I really like Abraham Lincoln's face. It just seems like it's an okay face, but it's like worn out, and tired. And look at Stephen Douglas. I mean, he's getting that crinkle right there on his fucking... What's up with that crinkle? I've seen that crinkle in between the eyeballs. But that's the guy for slavery. That's the guy against slavery. For slavery, against slavery. The famous Douglas-Lincoln debates. He says America can't continue to be half slave and half free. He wants to preserve the Union above all else. So he'll go ahead and let the South and the Confederate, keep their slaves. Enforce the Fugitive Slave Act. He's just opposed to the expansion of slavery into the new territories. But he's all about slavery, and he says if you don't expand slavery into the new territories, then that means the institution of slavery is in jeopardy. It's in doubt. You have to expand this wicked, racist institution everywhere that America is. When he got elected, all his fucking people freaked the fuck out and jumped ship. But the Confederates make no sense, because how conciliatory was Abraham Lincoln? He's going to let you keep your slaves? Confederates, what the fuck? The whole point of being a confederacy was to keep slavery going, right? He would have kept slavery going, so maybe we should thank the South. Thank you, you fucking racist pieces of shit, for being such insecure piles of shit. You're against democracy so much that when Abraham Lincoln was elected, you're like, oh, he said something about not slavery isn't perfect. We got to get the hell out of here. He's not the perfect racist? Is that what you're trying to say? He's going to let you keep slaves. He's going to let the black man stay in chains. Let the white totalitarian dictatorship carry on. That's what he said in the first inaugural address. And he was going to enforce the fugitive slave clause. So when the black man or woman or family would run to the north, to the free states, they would have to ship them back. So that's Abraham Lincoln's political stance. Pro-union, don't extend slavery into the federal territories, but you can keep slavery because the federal government doesn't have the authority to stop slavery. Not only does the federal government not have the authority to stop slavery, but Abraham Lincoln, in his inaugural address, said he didn't even have the inclination to do so. So the Confederates fucking forced Lincoln's hand. They forced his hand. He gave you every fucking thing. He gave you every goddamn thing, and that still wasn't enough. No, you're going to let us have slaves, and you're going to love it. You're going to love it. No. Your fucking bullshit, slavery bullshit, it's time for that shit to be over. Here's a picture of Harriet Tubman. Born into slavery, Harriet Tubman escaped Philadelphia in 1849, navigating her course to freedom. She said by following the North Star, returning south at least 19 times, she rescued more than 200 slaves, including her own mother and father, via the Underground Railroad. Could you imagine that? She saved 200 slaves, including her own mother and father, and she could have saved so many more if they'd only known that they were slaves. White abolitionists and free blacks operated this secret, loosely organized system to help slaves flee from captivity in the South to the relative safety of the free states or the more secure freedom of Canada. Danger was a constant. Any form of assistance to runaways was illegal. Escaped slaves who were recaptured risked being tortured, maimed, and sold far away from family and friends, while those helping them might be sued, fined, or imprisoned. Tubman's exploits were so successful. I never ran my train off the tracks, she said, and I never lost a passenger, that the state of Maryland offered a $40,000 reward for her capture. Maryland was a border state. I mean, what the fuck? In point of courage, shrewdness, and disinterested exertions to rescue her fellow men, declared William Still, A fellow leader of the Underground Railroad, she was without equal. Tireless Tubman gave anti-slavery speeches and in 1858 helped John Brown plan his raid on Harper's Ferry during the Civil War. As a spy and scout, she provided valuable intelligence to Union forces, and she was also a nurse for soldiers and black refugees. Here's a portrait of Harriet Tubman, ink and watercolor drawing, 1934. But here's Harriet Tubman in a watercolor. Where are them Tubmans at? Aren't we supposed to have some Tubmans? Just like them JFK files, right? We don't have the Tubman on the $20 bills. We still honoring the goddamn racist, genociding, fucking slaver Andrew Jackson. But not Harriet Tubman, the great liberator, the great emancipator. Lincoln's on the $5 bill and he's on the penny. But Harriet Tubman, she's a great emancipator. She had to do all that by herself. She had to do that. That's on the ground. Lincoln, from the top, he liberated from the top, but isn't it much harder to liberate from the bottom up instead of from the top down? And then this watercolor, they say, is Harriet Tubman dressed as a man, helping another man escape. It's a 1934 watercolor painting. Just tired of the fucking government lying to us, and you know what? Keep moving forward, motherfucker. Are you all moving forward? I know you're a bunch of incrementalist, conservative, fucking dickhead Democrats. We need Jared Polis. Joe Biden should not run. Jared Polis should run for president. The Democratic Party is stagnant and stale, and it's crap. It's crap. It's not doing anything. They're not progressive. They're the conservatives. If that's the point, then we need to have a progressive party. Shaken by crisis after crisis, as we need a rainbow revolutionary party. Woo, I like that. The political party of the rainbow revolutionaries. Essentially, it's the progressive bull moose party. Essentially, we're the Green Party Libertarian Party, but that's the rainbow revolutionaries. I like the sound of that.